Figures out today show London's economy has grown almost double the rate of any other region in Britain since the start of the financial crisis. It increased 12.4% in the 5 years after September 2007, according to the Office for National Statistics. The rest of the country saw growth of between 2.3% and 6.8% in that period. And Prince Andrew saw one of the reasons for that today. Standing in for the Queen as she continues her recovery from illness, he visited what's regarded as the powerhouse of the capital's new economy, Tech City, a cluster of media and technology companies near Old Street roundabout. He spoke to staff at the social network Yammer and creative firm Mother, just two of the 1,300 digital companies now based in the East End. The area has seen a rapid rise in high-tech industry and is being hailed as the UK's answer to Silicon Valley. In 2008, there were only about 15 companies based there. Well, Alex Wood is editor of Tech City News, which focuses entirely on London's technology sector. Alex, welcome. This tech cluster in this part of East London that's been seeing a transformation generally over the last few years, hasn't it? And how important is it for the local economy in that area?
This is a really key, fundamentally important part of the local economy, not just in Old Street, but also across the whole of London. It's been something that's been happening organically for a number of years, but it's also spreading across the whole of the capital and really bringing new growth to the area.
OK, we talk about the local economy, but there's a lot of talk now about how this could be a rival for Silicon Valley. Lots of small businesses, lots of small firms, but the big names still, Google, Apple, they're all American. So is this realistic?
Absolutely. There's a lot of people out there that make this kind of comparison between Silicon Valley and London. But actually, I think we should be looking more towards New York, which is actually a much more interesting comparison. Because if you look at London as a city, think about the strengths that we have. We have an amazing financial services sector, really strong in fashion, in retail, in creative. And when you bring those things together with technology, you've got a really interesting and powerful combination. And that's what we've been seeing in New York, and that's what we're seeing in London. So actually, I think we should put things like Google, Facebook to one side and actually play to our strengths in this city.
Let's talk about the fact that both Boris Johnson and David Cameron visited Tech City at the end of last year. That they're really obviously trying to promote this area as a leading tech hub, if you like. But also, at the same time, there came £15 million investment. Now, it sounds like a lot on paper, but when we think about these industries and how much money they generate generally and how much it costs just to stay advanced in these areas, is that enough?
It's definitely a start, and I think it's a signal of intent, because if you look at Old Street Roundabout right now, it's not necessarily the most attractive of areas in London, to say the least. And actually what they're trying to do is put this on the map, really, say this is the heart of what is now known as Tech City. London needs to be taken seriously as a centre for this, and then we build out from there.
OK, I mean, we heard a bit about the figures, some of the figures at the beginning here. People might be surprised to hear that the technology firms in 2008, 8.3% of the UK economy, accounted, for 8.3% of the UK economy. And that's the highest percentage for any major economy, almost twice the share of the US economy. But why don't we know more about this? Do we need to do more to publicise this area and this tech city and this hub and what's going on?
Well, I think we don't necessarily celebrate our successes enough, which I think is another thing that the government has been really key and instrumental in actually doing a lot of work in. I mean, the other thing to bear in mind is that a lot of people don't necessarily perceive technology companies as technology companies. I'll give an example, companies like ASOS, the fashion retailer online, it's a retailer, but it's online and it makes the most of technology. And again, coming back to my earlier point, it's about the coming together of technology and other industries. There's a booming financial services plus tech sector coming out of Canary Wharf, coming out of the edge of the city as well. When we start to put all these things together, we're seeing an incredible picture and we're seeing growth for this country.
OK, Alex Wood, thank you very much for joining us.